And welcome back for our fourth and final game of the evening of the Xenon Gaming Series Spring Burst Qualifier number 2. My name is Navical, being joined once again by Enteritus. We are getting set for what should be a banger of a matchup. We've had some
Yeah.
exciting games tonight, Enteritus. How are we feeling so far?
Yeah, I mean, I really love that game, last game. It was, a little bit of a blowout, with
Yeah.
that 7-2 win, but honestly, I was really happy to see, some phenomenal Siege being played, and like you said, this should be an interesting one, with some names that I honestly haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a wild card
Yeah.
matchup for us. We've got 45th Taco Truck versus Source Gaming, and we'll take a
Uh,
look at the rosters just to see who we're dealing with. And well, it's a little bit of an unknown, like we said, at least on the side of 45th Taco Truck. We've got SK, Trix, Junior, Stoll, and Kojin for the side of 45th Taco Truck. And on the side of Source Gaming, it's Spudsack, Waffle, Goose, Timp, and Angel. What do we know about them? I know Source used to be that 1 HP red roster, but 45th Taco Truck, we don't really know a ton about. At least I don't.
yeah, like I said, some names that I haven't heard before, you haven't heard either. But SK is a name that I've heard for a minute. It's been a little while. Don't get me wrong. But he was a fairly consistent player. If I remember correctly, he played that kind of soft breach role. Um, like I said, it's been a while though. Waffle's also a player from the Source Gaming side that I recognize, but some of them are people that I haven't seen before. So this should be a really interesting one because both of these teams are currently sitting at 2-1. So they lost to teams that I think you said it was Source Gaming lost to or 8-7 to Valkyrie.
No, it was
No?
actually Source Gaming. Their last matchup was 7-5 victory versus God Did Gaming on
Okay.
Clubhouse, and then 45th Taco Truck lost 7-8 versus Ultron, a team that we
That's who
saw
it was.
earlier on
There
stream
you go.
on Chalet, and
Yeah.
Chalet was no slouch of a map for Ultron. But speaking of maps such as Chalet, we'll throw it over to our map bands, and we'll see where we're going to be playing our final game of the night. Start things off. It's going to be Consulate and Nighthaven off the board. That doesn't surprise me at all. These two teams, not
Yeah.
exactly the biggest fans of that. Skyscrapers, not surprising as well. Source, a good read by them, banning out a very strong map for 45th Taco Truck and Chalet. And we'll head things down to the end. It's going to be Clubhouse as our map this evening, and it's going to be Source Gaming starting on the defense. How do we feel about that? Do we feel good about Source?
I mean, at the very least, it's a map they should know. Every time I come on here and we see Clubhouse, I complain that it's a little boring because it's something we see a lot, but it's also a map that you should know. At the very least, you shouldn't be able to sit down and go, "Hey, I know this map." Speaking of knowing this map, we're gonna go ahead and get in, and we're gonna see if we know what operator bans. As usual, we're gonna expect a Ying, Dokebi, Solus, and honestly, I'm feeling Mira. Mira's a one that I kind of don't expect, but
Whoa.
Maverick isn't one I expect. I, I'm thrown for a loop here, Nomical.
Oh, yeah. That's one that you don't really see a lot. Although it does make sense. It is Clubhouse. You've got things such as the platform and the jacuzzi wall that you got to worry about. There's also hatches as well. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Capital ban here. That could be interesting, something that you see on this map. But no, it is going to be the Ying. That's not surprising. I agree with that ban. Ying very strong right now in the meta, one of the more powerful attacking operators. Not surprised that we see her off the board. But remember, that's going to leave a lot of different options on the board for the attack. It's going to leave that Dokubi. It's going to
Yep.
leave things such as the Capitao to help clear out Raptors, which is going to enable the attack to be a lot more powerful than it could have potentially been. And defensively, it's going to be Fenrir off the board first. I agree with that ban as well. It's very good, a very strong operator, can be very lethal when holding down choke points in places such as blue,
Yeah.
such as dirt. Just a very solid ban there overall.
Yeah, and it's also just something you can leave and forget. You can set it up, watch the flank, and with Solus off the board, something not crazy like that Maverick ban. I hope that wasn't a misclick. But yeah, Solus is a pretty easy one. Fenrir, like I said, is kind of a leave and forget. It's also just really annoying to deal with. You're losing a lot of vision having to deal with it. And you have to waste utility to clear it because I mean, you can shoot it, but only if it's active. Otherwise, you have to blow it up. And so it can be an annoying one to deal with. But as we get in, they're going to be starting here. on
Attackers need to locate and
the
defuse bombs.
basement site, and bringing that mirror that I was talking about. Something that makes it very easy to play. A lot of people, what they like to do is double reinforce and set up next to the head will set up a mirror so you can play off a main window or play off main stairs, or play off of the drop in a moto. They also, some people like to put it behind blue, like right there where that reinforcement is by the box, to make it so that you can sit there and watch the entire walk up for oil. It's a very versatile
Seconds
operator,
left.
and I'm liking seeing it coming out of Source Gaming.
Yeah,
5
Source has
seconds to
brought out
go.
a very strong lineup, I have to think. You've got the
Yeah,
Cade, you've got the Mirror, and even the Azami,
Attackers
which
are
remember,
moving out to
did go
locate a bomb
unbanned
and
on this
defuse
map.
it.
So it's going
true.
to be very enabling for places such as Rafters, such as Arsenal,
Yep.
and even Church. There's so many different spots on Clubhouse where you can use Azami to your advantage. And I have to think we might see teams start to regret that later on if the teams start to struggle on the attack. But you've got some good operators on the attack to deal with the Azami. You've got operators such as the Habana, you've got the Ash, and even really the Ram can help out a little bit. So we'll see exactly how they use that. Lots of different chess pieces coming into play in this round, and I have to think that when we see these teams come blow for blow, it's going to be exciting, and there's going to be a lot of close action-packed rounds.
Going live. Inhabiting Gemini.
Speaking of action pack, nothing happening just yet.
I lied.
Just a little bit. I was hoping something would happen right in the jump to me. But no, nothing's happening just yet. But
Hang
SK's
on.
looking to find when he sees the barrel, he starts shooting, but he's gonna waste some bullets. And Waffle's not gonna fall, but he's gonna be able to push him back upstairs before going out, so that maybe he can find a little bit of space to hold that kitchen. There it is. He's gonna be able to hold that hatch, and they're gonna have to clear him out. But it's gonna be
Yeah.
SK clearing out Angel first.
Yeah, he was going to be a really big threat there from above. Angel, unfortunately, falling first, like you said. And while it hadn't been a very fast starting round, 45th Taco Truck have really done a great job of taking map control. You saw just barely a minute in, they were already inside a strip club. They had already started working their way into kitchen, which is very good time management by the side of the attack. And they found 3 kills. Look at this, 45th Taco Truck with a very strong attacking round to start things off. It's up to Spudsack and Tim to clutch things out. They've got pings on the players up inside of kitchen. They don't really have much to deal with them, however, except for the C4. And even with that mirror window being gone, it's going to be much harder for Spudsack to try and swing onto the players on the bottom of main stairs. And it's going to enable Tricks to run across, potentially find a kill. There you go. It's all up to Spudsack and the 1 versus 5, working his way through Moto. Not going to have much luck. He is going to get 1 kill. He's going to actually drop the diffuser and make it a little bit more manageable for him, but he misses the shots on the Iana all the way back to the main stairs. He will go. They picked up the diffuser, just barely missing the players when it matters most. He keeps getting that siege timing that you so often talk about. Is going to find another down, but he's not going to find any more than that. And 45th Taco Truck with a very great attacking round to start things off, and they're up 1-0.
I just say, a lot of times I like to complain about players kind of just dry peeking stuff, but it seemed to work out for 45th Taco Truck there. They did a really good job of just maintaining that pressure, maintaining that aggression. We got to see SK almost pull off Waffle, and instead of tracing him down, he just walked down main stairs. He recognized, hey, I don't have to deal with that player anymore. He's walked upstairs. I have a player somewhere near
Attackers
behind
need to
me
locate and
who
defuse
can
bombs.
walk up and take that angle and take that fight that could potentially happen. Waffle walking down, and I believe it ended up being Angel who took that fight there, post him walking down those stairs. But that amount of aggression is really nice to see out of 45th Taco Truck. A lot of teams that kind of struggle whenever they struggle on attack, it's mostly because of aggression. And I'm not seeing that out of 45th Taco Truck. Source Gaming, even though it is that first round, wasn't able to really deal with it. And they're gonna have to adapt or die. That's about the only options you have here, as they're gonna be bringing that mirror out again in some
5
pretty
seconds left
default
before
places.
insertion.
Yeah, that's pretty much where you do
Attackers'
see the mirror
objective is to
windows
locate a
nowadays,
bomb
just
Yeah.
how the teams tend to set it up. But can we just take a second to appreciate some of the team names we've seen this qualifier? There have been some really good ones.
There have
45th
been
Taco
some really
Truck
good ones.
is no slouch when it comes to a name. It's fun to say, too. It's so random, and it makes it interesting because you don't really know what the team is going to do. It's one of those quote-unquote stats. But speaking of getting into the round, it's round number 2. You see Temp using an impact to trick out that Soma charge, working his way in. And a beautiful shot from Angel inside of Lounge is going to take the Osa off the board. I didn't even realize there was an Osa, but we won't get to see how 45th Taco Truck are going to use that operator. Not going to be able to use it on places such as Jacuzzi to try and enable the attack. And There you go. The jacuzzi wall now getting opened up. 45th Taco Truck, despite losing the man advantage early on, are continuing to press on, continuing to do good work, and continuing to take map control, which is very good to see from them.
Bomb
It's
located
going
by
to be up
attackers.
to the Legion here to hold off cash side. Tricks is being very aggressive over here. He's opening a lot of holes. He's constantly putting pressure over there. The player sitting in a green box has to be very careful. But he hasn't been able to actually take it out, as Legion's going to be able to walk out. Stay out on that balcony. Could potentially jump in, but Trixie is going to be the first one to jump into CCTV, taking a little bit of space over there. Only a minute off the board. They're already taking a lot of space. They've already pushed these players back over towards construction. It's not looking great for Source. This is something I talked about in the last game, as it's going to be Spud going down before falling finally to Kojin. But like I was saying, something I was talking about last game, of if you can push these players in together, it makes them very uncomfortable, and that's what they're doing right now.
This could be a very crucial engagement, and Waffle's going to win it with the player on the rappel. That's SK off the board. No more Twitch, no more ability to potentially pop those mirror windows for free, although we don't know whether or not SK was able to get utilization of those Twitch drones before he went down. Frag Grenade's going to rain in from Trix, try and take out some of these Kiba barricades that have made this site an absolute nightmare for the attack to try and get in. But did I see one of the players potentially in sight? Yeah, actually, I believe that's Trix just in the site. Actually, no, he's just on the window, I believe. But a C4 rains in, takes down Kojin, does a lot of damage to the other attackers, but Junior swings in from bathroom. It's a 2 versus 2, an impact grenade to finish him off. But Goose falls to Junior. It's a 1 versus 1, playing around the bomb chassis. Waffle falls back into construction, trying to play his life. He is on the back foot here. He has to survive for 30 seconds. Junior has all the time in the world to try and find him. Junior going to be going for this plan now. Don't know if Waffle has information about this. Impact grenade's going to rain in. He spots the shoulder, downs the player, and wins the round for Source Gaming. Successful defensive gym, and Waffle will celebrate as he'll get the defuse, he'll get the round, and we are tied up at 1-1.
In a very close round for Source Gaming. What is he wrong there? Oh my god. As he's gonna go ahead and finish off defusing. But like I was saying, a very, very close round. It could have gone either way. The last player was stuck in that position in order to plant, but they really were doing a good job of kind of pushing them out, being able to get their way into gym. It kind of just fell apart a little bit on the gunfights. They struggled to fully finish off these players, and it made it very hard for the attackers to be able to hold it. Even though he was able to get bombed down, he wasn't in a great position. He didn't have anyone to hold that main stairs for him and be able to keep him alive so he can get out. It was just a little rough from 45th after that first round we saw where they were incredibly aggressive. They slowed it back a little bit, dialed it back a little bit, weren't able to just walk straight in. And a nice adjustment coming out of Source Gaming.
Source Gaming really was able to hang on to the positions
Yeah.
that mattered most when it counted. They had construction control through pretty much that entire round, and even really Logi as well. I mean, you saw Junior swing his way in and kill a player on the top of the main stairs, but he never actually was able to take Logi control for his team. And at that point, it really didn't matter because I believe at that point it was him all alone. He did get really close there. If he had potentially planted just a second or two sooner, he could have popped up and escaped and potentially wouldn't have had his shoulder spotted by the player and ultimately finished off. But it doesn't really matter. At this point, Source Gaming with the successful defense, although it was probably a little bit closer than they would have liked. We'll head
Yeah.
back downstairs to the basement to try and reattempt this, and very similar attacking lineup being brought once again by 45th Taco Truck. The only concern I have for the moment is very limited hard breach. You only have that Habana, and you have no secondary options. So we need to see 45th Taco Street and how they want to use these Habana pellets, the X-Kairos, because of the fact that, like I said, they don't have a lot of options. They're going to have to decide where they want to focus it, as Junior's going to focus his aim in on a player upstairs, take Waffle out inside a CCTV, and get the opening pick for 45th Taco Truck.
That's a lot of information off the board. They can't steal those drones anymore. They can't move them around. They also can't move around that a zombie, as he's going to fall as well. The Trixia, 2 bodies already up for 45th Taco Truck. A much smoother round from the previous one, but it isn't finished off as they've got a third player roaming. Angel up in this construction side. He could be very, very painful for 45th Taco Truck if they can't find him. But it looks like they've already spotted him out with a Jackal. They're tracking him down. Stoll is hunting him. Trixie is going in for it, but it's going to be stole to finish it off. And 3 players gone for Source Gaming without any answer at all. 45th Taco Truck being able to clear out these players. They're going to be starting to push their way down, getting these hatches open, making it a lot easier for them to finish off this round.
Look at this. Spudsack just trapped inside of the corner of Arsenal. He's got impact grenades, ram, C4s all around him. He's going to fall to Junior. Another kill comes in. A down, however. Thankfully, Goose is able to find one on the exit. Potentially has a second one lined up, but he looks away at the last second, and Trix is able to shut him down, giving round number 3 over to the attack. 45th Taco Truck get the coveted 2 attacking rounds very early on. What more can they get? It's going to be interesting to see how many rounds they can pick up here. As surprisingly, you and I have seen a lot of teams so far start to dominate when they first get on the attack, which really is something you don't see nowadays just because of how the meta goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not been too much of an attacker meta recently. But other than that second round, I really liked what I've seen from Taco Truck. They do a very good job of isolating the fights with the roamers so that they can play off of any information they have, and they've been winning them. We haven't seen a whole lot of losses, and there hasn't been a whole lot of needed trades on the defense. Source Gaming hasn't really had an answer. That second round, they mostly just fought back after losing both, not only losing main and bathroom control, they also lost green control and pretty much just fought out of construction. It was more just minor mistakes coming out from 45th Taco Truck. But those other 2 rounds that they won, they did a very good job of, like I said, isolating those fights, making them have the advantage because of positioning, and doing a very good job of clearing out those roamers incredibly fast.
I love match competitive Rainbow Six. You see the Azami being unbanned, and immediately when you notice that the defenders going to CCTV cache, you bring out the Capital, you bring out the double hard breach, because you know you're going to need to clear the Azami out of rafters, and that's pretty well likely where the Azami is going to be playing, because you can use those Kiva barricades to make rafters an absolute fortress, especially when you pair it with Temp on the Wamai. So I really like this defense from Source Gaming, but again, I also like the reads that 45th Taco Truck have. They've brought the Capital. They've even got the OSA to make their platform hold a little bit better and a little bit stronger when they do end up getting that main CCTV breach open. But look at this. Angel's going for the bandit trick, but he does the wrong wall, so he's going to have to back up. 45th Taco Truck, very early on in the round, get the main breach open. They have control now. They have lines of sight to try and cut these players off and try to put some pressure. Look at this. Tim might be going for a challenge here, and he might have the right read on where a player is located. But I do believe that's Kodge, and I do believe he's sitting behind the nose shield.
It looks like he is, but it's actually going to be Waffle taking that first fight on a Trixia. They've lost their Thatcher, but the wall's already open, so it's not that big of a deal. This kid's looking to see if he can't find someone through the pixel. It's going to be Tim finding Stoll, and Junior find your Waffles. Another one falls. Junior falls with a trade. Angel's able to pick that up. There's only 2 more players alive for 45th. What has been so far a back and forth between these 2 teams.
With that Capital Fireball, not quite going to connect on the player sitting on green box, and Angel's going to be able to punish him for it. The player sitting inside of construction is going to fall, and it's going to leave SK all alone in the 1 versus 4. He doesn't have any control to work with, and he knows that that main construction wall is opened up by Junior previously, so he's not going to be able to vault in safely without burning the last little bit of utility he had left. He is going to be able to get rid of one of the Kiva barricades to give himself a clean access into the site. But the Toxic Babes are going to burn away, smoke off his entry, especially because of the fact that he cannot work his way in through that construction breach. It's only big enough to provide a line of sight. Cannot vault through that. So he's not going to have much to work with. And he's got 2 players watching his doorway. Surely if he walks his way in, he's dead, and there you go. Tim swings, finishes him off, and we are now tied up 2-2. And it seems like the only site that Swords are having trouble defending is the basement for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe you can break that down for us.
Yeah, I really think it's just a difference in playstyles. Basement is a site that you can bunker into, but they're not choosing to do that. The sites that they've been winning, they've been bunkering. We saw it on Gym, where I know I said they lost both bathroom and cache control, but they were able to bunker into both logistics, green, gold, and pawn, and just play for the fights. That's the thing I've been seeing from Source, is they seem to be this kind of slow and stable, winning the gunfights they need to, versus 45th Taco Truck has just been this incredibly fast, kind of keeping up the tempo. And when they're able to just fight the roam clears, it works. They do a very good job of making sure that they keep those roamers off the feet. But when they get trying to push into these bunkers, it's incredibly hard for them to be able to find those solo peaks because Source Gaming does an incredible job of setting up trades. It's their win condition right now, and every time they've gone to
5 seconds remaining.
basement, they've had at least 2 roamers. I would like to see if they end up going back to basement, a little bit of an adjustment where they just say, hey, screw it, let's put up 1 just to slow them down, just waste time, and we 4-man bunker basement or 5-man bunker basement.
That seems to be the strategy that works the best nowadays, is you put 5 players down on the site, and that way you can watch all the angles, watch all the different avenues into the site, and make it a lot harder for the attack team to actually work their way in. Of course, Clubhouse is a very big map that a lot of teams know very well, so if you're going to roam on it, you got to be very expert with how you do your roam game, especially because of the fact that we have operators dedicated to the roam clear still unbanned, and a lot of teams know how to clear Clubhouse. So if you're going to roam, like I said, you got to be very smart about it. And that bunker strategy, we see it so very often work very well. And speaking of working very well, it's going to be Waffle with the opening pick. He's been putting in great work for his team. He's got 5 and 3 for his scoreline for the moment. He's trying to add to it as he's trying to take a fight with the players up on Raptors. Not going to be able to find any results on that just yet, but Trix and Junior are trying to take some space, trying to take some map control for their team, and for the moment, they've only burned about a minute, so they're not doing too bad in terms of map control, but they need to start picking it up, otherwise they might risk falling behind.
Like you said, with the player already off the board, it's going to make it hard for 45th Taco Truck to be able to take this as they're trying to push in. They've got to contest with these 2 players playing out of cash, as the first one's going to take the fight. Going to be Temp taking out Trix, looking for a second one on this breach, but they've got to be very careful and not give them a fight, as it's going to be Junior giving up a life. Kojin looking to see if he can't find a trade,
Ouch.
but he gets stuck between 2 players, and it's all up to SK, sitting in a 1v5 situation, all alone. I'd be looking like a zombie's looking to swing him, sitting on a highway, but it's not going to be enough of a swing as SK's going to take him out. Looking to see if he can't take out any more players here, as it's going to be Temp taking them out, and Source Gaming themselves a 3-2.
The beauty of that round, at least to what it looked like from my opinion, was the fact that they had people in place to trade out anybody and cover anybody that was
Yeah.
playing inside of cash. Because you saw when the one player, I believe it was Kaj, walked in from the main breach on platform,
Yep.
there were 2 and almost a third person swinging him from cash at the same time, ready to play for that trade if he was able to find a kill, which is really the beautiful thing that we saw from them. Like I said, it put 45th Taco Truck in such a bad spot because of the fact that they kept losing bodies and they weren't able to trade it back
Attackers
out
need to
themselves
locate
because
and
they
defuse bombs.
were solo swinging, unlike Source, and it just kept getting worse and worse until it ended up in a 1 versus 5. And of course, it ended up getting 1 kill for the side of SK, but no more than that. Source Gaming now find themselves in the lead after we traded back and forth in the start. Source now with 2 in a row, looking to continue to build on their momentum and send themselves into the second half 4-2. I feel like this is probably going to be a 3-3 though, because of the fact that we've seen them struggle to defend the basement.
Yeah, I also have my doubts, Namiko. It's
10 seconds remaining.
like I said, I think their win condition is closer to playing that slow, steady, playing off of trades.
5
Like you said,
seconds
there's I think that green box kill was an
Attackers must
incredible
locate and defuse the
explanation
bomb.
of just how well they play off those trades. Like you said, almost 3 players swinging that. If they go back to that play style, it would work a lot better. It looks like they're trying to do something closer to like an old SSG roam, where they have a player sitting on top floor, falling back, Waffle playing out of bar to kind of help that fallback. I personally don't think it's what they should be doing. They're kind of feeding into this aggression that 45th Taco Truck is looking to use.
To drone direct.
Well, speaking of aggression, you've got Perfect Operator to clear out these roamers. You've actually got 2 of them. You've got the Dokkaebi, you've got the Jackal. When combined together, it's going to make it an absolute nightmare for Source Gaming to try and continue to do their roam. But Temp actually takes out the aforementioned Jackal, and that's going to make their roam a lot more successful because they don't have to worry about getting their feet spotted by the Jackal tracker. And you do have 1 player, I believe it's SK, working his way into Strip Club. Goose is able to find another one, and 45th Taco Truck, they seem to be on the back foot now as Source Gaming Their guns have come alive, and they're starting to right the wrongs of the first 2 attempts of this as it gets even worse. Waffle with another kill. SK and Kaj now alone in the 2 versus 5.
Rod's looking to find his as he's finally be able to find the first one onto Waffle. They're looking to build back this round, see if they can't find some of these roamers. Tampon's going to be moving back. Oh, nope, he's going to walk back upstairs as he's looking to just kind of mess around with them. They're going to go back to that bunker play. They have to leave these hatches open. They can't go back and reinforce them. They're already open. As they mess up the hole in the dirt, they're now going to have to play off of whatever they can. Looks like Kojin's going to go ahead and give them something so they can get into dirt. But they're wasting a lot of time. There's still a minute left on the board, Nomical. But that's not a whole lot of time when you have to deal with 4 other players. Looks like they're going to have to play together. Or this could be looking for that 4-2 half that Source is looking for.
Yeah, you've got 4 players left on the board for Source Gaming, like you mentioned. But not only that, you've got the 5th man. You've got that time working against you. And even really the 6th man. On top of having the time working against you, you've got the Toxic Babes. All 3 of them, now 2, remaining for Spudsack. He's going to be able to use those here in the later portions of this round to make it even harder for 45th Taco Truck to work their way into the site. And they might have the player lined up on the Azami here. If Kaj is actually able to get the swing right, he looks away at the last second, though, and I don't believe he's going to be able to find this kill on the Angel, who's not going to aggress because he doesn't have to. There's 20 seconds left, but no, SK's going to find one. Hang on a second. It's a 2 versus 2, but now it's all up to Kaj, who's alone in the 1 versus 2, and he's going to have to find Source, Spudsack, and Goose in these final 10 seconds. He's going to have to either get the diffuser down or he's going to have to find the 2 kills. It's not going to be either one. He can't even find Spudsack. The smoke just sitting inside of Church is good enough to shut him down. And Source Gaming, they get that 4-2 split that they so desperately wanted, so desperately needed. They'll head on to their attacks, and they look good so far. They've had the momentum. Let's see if they can translate it.
Yeah, and I agree. They definitely look incredibly well. The big thing isn't even like their gunfights. They're fighting pretty much even with 45th Taco Truck, but the difference is they're adjusting. I haven't seen much of an adjustment coming out of 45th Taco Truck, and sure, we're at half. They're going to be playing differently now, but seeing you play 6 rounds, losing what was it, like 4 in a row, because they were down 1-2 and came back. Sorry, 3 in a row. That'd be 3 in a row. 3 in a row. They were down 1-2. Source Gaming was able to win 3 in a row, and not seeing a single adjustment in any of those rounds. They played the same. They just tried to take those solo fights that I said that they were doing good on, but if you're not winning the fights, you don't want to take them solo. They stopped winning them at a high rate. Source Gaming started playing a lot better, setting themselves up for trades, and it's the adjustment that I like to see that currently hasn't happened from a 45th Taco Truck, as they're going to go to basement and see if they can't do what Source wasn't able to do and win it the first time.
They've got a really similar lineup to what Source was bringing when they were on the defense. They've got that mirror, they've got that smoke. The one difference really being the Maestro. We didn't see Source play Maestro one time, and Maestro's actually worked his way back into the meta a little bit. Having the ability to have that third Eagle Eye has really helped and made him a lot more viable to these teams. He's really good at gaining information and denying the plant, of course. That's his main role, as you've got him paired with the smoke to make sure that it's going to be very hard for Source Gaming to get a plant down. But Source Gaming, they have tools to actually help themselves get into the site. They've got the Grim. We haven't had the chance to talk about the Grim yet just because we haven't seen him play. And Grim is very good at forcing operators out of their positions, especially when you try to hit the site. You can force players that are playing on areas such as AKs and even the green boxes out of position and into a line of sight from the kitchen hatch. If they can get him into position, he'll be deadly later in the round.
And one thing I want to point out while we have a second is it feels weird to see these playstyles coming out from both Source and 45th Taco Truck, because it seems like opposite. You have 45th bunkering down, something that I said Source should be doing, and you have Source being aggressive, something that I think would work a lot better for 45th Taco Truck. They didn't have a single roamer this entire round. They had the Mozzie up a little bit, but he walked up secret and kind of just gave it back up. It feels weird to see a team that was playing so aggressive now bunkering down as Kojin's getting attacked from all angles, and he's finally going to fall to the gun of Waffle.
Yeah, Coach nearly had a pickup there onto Temp, I believe it was, but unfortunately, he couldn't quite land his shots. And another thing, I don't know if you noticed, but Goose lost one of his ram charges to one of the ram charges. He threw another one out while one was
Yeah, I
active
did
and it
see
got
that.
destroyed. So that's going to be a little bit of a misplay from the side of Source Gaming. But fortunately for them, they do have the Buck as a secondary vertical option. So they aren't going to be stressing or
All set to blow it up.
low on that sort of utility in any way because Buck still has plenty of gadgets left in that skeleton key. But Spudsec, I don't know how much hard destruction he's actually done. He's still got 8 in pocket, but a swing comes in. A second one falls for 45th Taco Truck as Angel's able to shut him down on the bottom of main stairs. A C4 is no good. It misses on the bottom of main stairs as well, and Trix is going to have to try and hold on to this based on gun prowess alone. Source Gaming now in the final 30 seconds are getting into the part where they execute. Here comes the bees that we mentioned earlier on. It's going to deny players from playing on that mirror window without being spotted. Goose finds 2 more as he works his way into the site. It's a split take from all different angles. It's 1 kill coming for Trix, but Waffle will shut him down. The Buck working his way in inside of the site, above the site. It doesn't matter. He's good to do it all. And Source Gaming find themselves up by 3 rounds.
And something that I really wasn't expecting watching those first 3 rounds here, Nomical, they've almost reverse sweep there. Won 4 rounds in a row. And as both of us know, momentum's a huge part of this game.
Well,
They can
absolutely.
keep up this momentum. It'll be very easy to finish them off because they only need 2 more rounds.
Defenders, protect your
Um,
bombs from
and
being defused by
as
attackers.
versatile as Source Gaming is, they've done a really good job of, like I said, being adjustable. I think the biggest thing that's really helping them right now is their trade game. There hasn't been a whole lot of kills that haven't really been answered so far in this half. I mean, I think I've been somewhat counting, and of the like 8 deaths that came from Source Gaming side, 4 or 5 of them were traded. They've been doing a really good job of making sure they
10
set up.
seconds to
Like we
insertion.
saw, the last player alive there, Trixia, was able to pick up
5 seconds
one,
to
went to the
insertion.
reload, and immediately got swung from another place.
Attackers must
It's that
locate and
that
defuse the
coordination
bomb.
that I'm really liking seeing from Source being able to set themselves up for their trades.
Yeah, coordination, collaboration, and communication.
Three
3
C's.
important factors for Rainbow Six. Can't have a good team without this. But look at this. You got 4 players situated around Garage for Source Gaming for the moment. As we'll head to Gym. Of course, that means Source Gaming are likely going to do a cache clear, start things out. And of course, there you are. You've got Waffle working his way into Garage, joined by Temp. They're going to try to work their way in, try to gain map control as quickly as possible, but if they're not careful, look at this. Stoll down below could be an influential factor of this round if he can get a flank off. Don't know if they have the read on that. He's down there, and I don't know if he's actually going to go and attempt this flank. He might just be going for a C4 play, but no. He's working his way in the garage, and I don't believe Source have any information on this. He is going to be very sneaky. He has that C4 as well. There's a lot of potential here for him if he can get this right. But no, the C4 is going to miss, unfortunately for him, and he'll go ahead and fall back to the site, not wanting to get too aggressive, because remember, 40-bit taco truck, 1 round away from staring down the opposite end of match point. They need to start bringing these rounds back before Source pick another one up.
And as 45th Taco Truck, like you said, is falling back to sight. They're falling back to some power positions. It's cold.
Ooh.
No. SK's gonna swing that window and highway and take out Waffle. That's another player off the board. A high gunning player. Currently their top frag. And SK has gone ahead and shut him down. He won't be able to help out in this round. As SK is looking to take another one. Nothing's answered as they're back to those power positions I was talking about.
Apologies, I thought you were done. I was going to say real quick, in terms of opening picks, whichever team so far has gotten the opening pick through the
Bomb
first 7
located by
rounds has
attackers.
actually won the round. So just something worth noting for 45th Taco Truck. It looks good for them so far. Let's see if they can convert it.
Tim's gonna be able to grab one onto Stoll. Flash is going out. He's looking for a second one, but he doesn't know that he's behind the desk. He's able to hold him zone before dying to Spud. Another swing coming out, but no trade just yet for SK, who's gonna go ahead and lay down. I don't know if Spud heard him, but it doesn't matter because he gets taken down by another player. Spud tries to swing for another one, but he's gonna fall. It's all up to Angel here, who's gonna swing the player in bathroom, but it's gonna be 45th Taco Truck bringing themselves back and getting rid of all that momentum Source Gaming was creating.
Yep, 4 rounds in a row for Source. That's enough for them. Taco finally take matters into their own hands, finally get themselves around. They hadn't won a round since round number 3, and that's a good start for them. They need to start bringing these rounds back just a little bit more. They need to probably get another one here before they let Source get on a match point. Otherwise, it could be a little bit harder, a lot harder actually, of a task for them to bring it back and force overtime.
Attackers need to locate
Remember,
and
this
defuse
is a
bombs.
2-1 matchup, so whoever loses this game is going to have a lot harder of a time of making close calls than if they were to win this and go to 3-1. Of course, remember, with 54 teams in this qualifier, it's a lot harder. You cannot be losing too many games. Even one loss might be too many for you. Not exactly sure how the math plays out on that, but we'll see as we go throughout the weekend. Remember that closed qualifiers start tomorrow night. We've got 2 more rounds of Swiss and then 2 rounds of closed qualifiers before we wrap things up on Sunday and find out who will be joining the other 8 teams in the XGS Spring
10
Burst.
seconds left before insertion.
Do you remember we could be watching one of those teams nominal?
5 seconds
Could
left.
be either one of them, as they're both now playing incredibly well. I liked a
Attackers
lot of the
must
stuff I was
locate and
seeing out
defuse
of
the bomb.
45th Taco Truck in that last one, as they were able to just shut down Source Gaming in all of those power positions I was talking about. They were able to kind of force them into the fights that 45th wanted to take, and every time that they've been able to create those scenarios that they want, they excel. And so whenever they're able to do that, it's very nice to see, as Waffle's going to be that opening pick again. They're going to be looking to
Well,
see
might as well
if
chalk
they
it
can find
up.
a second one, as he's alone able to take down Angel before falling to Goose.
Yeah, 4 versus 3 now in favor of 45th Taco Truck. They've done a good job on their own. They've found 2 big picks. They've taken out the Grim and the Buck. Not exactly who you want to be losing first. The good news for Source is they still do have some of that vertical play available with Goose on the Ram, and you've got your only hard breach available as well. Only 5 drones remaining. We are only a minute into this round, and Source Gaming only have 5 drones left for the entirety of this round. They have 4 people still to find. They have a lot of map still to clear, but they do have 1 Dokkaebi call left, so all is not lost. They can use those Dokkaebi calls, or at least the Dokkaebi call, to try and clear things out a little bit faster, try and enable their attack. And here you go. You can see Source finally working their way in, but the Habana pellets are going to miss on the window. That could be a crucial misuse of some of the utility. As remember how limited those X-Kairos are, and it even getting impact tricked, that's going to make things even worse.
But they've already lost some players, though, when they finally gotten that hatch open. And so not only do they have to worry about their utility, they have to worry about losing any more bodies, as they're looking to see if they can't get this bar hatch open and go out. They're going to get it open, get it a little bit easier for them to push out into sight. But there's still a whole lot for them to clear. That player is going to be moving away from that drop, and he's going to go in the corner. They're going to have to check him out, or Goji may be able to get some free kills here. They're still wasting a whole lot of time, 50 seconds, and the push should be starting soon. But it looks like they're stalling out a little bit as they're trying to decide how they want to get down this hatch. They're looking to see if they can't take it, as the first player looking to drop it. Flashes are going to go out. The first player is going to be Grim dropping it. He's going to see if he can. Excuse me, Ram's going to be dropping it. Hatch is going to be falling another one. And then 2 bodies falling as well. It's up to Goose in a 1v4 to hold it, but he can't hold it together. 45th Taco Truck going to grab themselves another round.
Yeah, 2 rounds in a row now for Taco Truck, and we've got a game on our hands. I was worried we might start to let Source Gaming run away with it a little bit, but 45th Taco Truck bringing it back now within 1 round of us being tied up at 5-5. And personally, I wouldn't mind a little overtime to send us out into the evening. Well, a little bit of a ways away from that, but it would not be a bad way to close things out. These 2 teams have been very entertaining so far. They've had a lot of that timely
Defenders,
aggression, a
protect
lot of
your
those
bombs
double
from being
swings that we've been
defused by
talking about, a
attackers.
lot of those good moments that are good building blocks for a team. And like you said, both these teams had good performances last week. They are trying to make it into the main season, which remember starts next Thursday, I believe, with our GSL bracket. Got 8 teams in that, and then we'll have 8 teams in the playoffs because we have those 4 invited teams who will be joining the 4 teams from the GSL bracket next week. Now, looking into this round, we're going to head to CCTV Cache. We've got the Azami once again. We saw Source Gaming do this the one
10
time that they
seconds to
defended
insertion.
CCTV Cache, and it ended up working out very well for them. It was a very dominant defensive round in their favor, so I like this from 45th Taco Truck, especially paired with the Wamata.
Attackers are moving out path to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy the Womai as well. I'm always a big fan of seeing the Womai coming out of Garage and the Azami, something you talked about at the beginning of the game that could be very deadly. It looks like they're already bringing that out. And it's going to be Warden in the in the bottom of Garage, or was in the bottom of Garage. They're going to move out. Trix has been a player that's been moving around a lot, kind of been that versatile, filling any position that needs to be held. But I probably would have felt a little bit more comfortable in the bottom Garage, unless that's open. That it is opening right now. But Trix is going to be able to find one of these kills here as a wall's going to finally open. SK finding another one, and Waffles another one of those early kills as it's going to be SK falling as well. A little
Bomb
bit similar
located
to
by
last round.
attackers.
Yeah, you got that core 3 left, however, for Source, which is the good news for them. They've still got the OSA, and they've still got their primary hard breacher left on the board. And they still can clear out Garage. They've got that Capital, they've got all of the utility in his pocket except for the hard breach charges, which I believe he used on the Garage itself. So, I mean, they have a lot still to work on, but they have building blocks. I don't know. I believe it looks like Timp has worked his way into Garage, actually. So we might see those firebolts start to ring out here in just a moment to try and force Stoll into a more advantageous position. And yes, you can see Angel, I believe, is currently situated on the Garage door to try and find this kill once they force the Capital out. He's not going to be able to get it, though, and the fire is going to start to eat away at him. But Stoll is going to be able to survive because he's got the safety of that Kiva barricade protecting him. I don't know if Spudsack is going to be able to find this kill because he's on the disadvantage. He's going to have to worry about where the swing is going to come from. But no, he wins it. It's down to a 3 versus 3. Very good Garage clear from Source Gaming.
As he's able to just dry take that. Very incredible job from Thermite there. And it's going to be up to the rest of these players to hold down that site. They don't have that Garage control. It's going to make it very hard. They're going to be able to only hold it from A. They could get underneath. Currently, they don't have anyone to be able to walk down red stairs just yet. And it doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to do that. As the C4 goes out, Kojin's able to find Spud. And it's going to be Junior seeing if he can't walk out. He's not going to be able to do it. As Trixie is going to find one. Junior's going to fall, and Kojin's going to find that trade for him. Find themselves winning another round.
We were praising Source earlier on for having their swings covered. They had those double swings coming in. And I feel that they've kind of gotten away from that a little bit as we got a timeout coming in here to see if Source can slow things down a little bit and try to figure out what's going on. They've now lost 3 in a row. They've let Taco get back in this game. They've let Taco Truck bring it back, go on their own little streak, just how they did it to close out their first half. Taco Truck now just 1 round away from putting us on match point. And they have to be in the advantageous position here. What do we need to see from Source to try and bring this back, other than potentially getting back to their roots with those double swings?
I mean, I think the big thing here is it's kind of changed. I talked about a little bit at that half of the fact that 45th Taco Truck was a team that wasn't really adapting, and now it's Source. Source isn't really changing any much. They've been reverting to what they were doing that first round was they were winning off of. But 45th has brought out something new. They've realized, hey, they've been setting up these trades. Let's see what we can do to force back to get into those solo fights, because we were winning those solo fights whenever we were doing it. And so it was very good for when they were doing that. But it's really just a matter of
Defenders,
Source
protect your
giving it
bombs
to
from
them.
being
It's not
defused
them
by attackers.
forcing it so much as Source is kind of just maybe getting a little bit lazy. It is round 4 of the night, and so some players may be feeling fatigue, but that doesn't excuse the fact that they're just kind of throwing away kills off of what really should be going their way.
We'll head back to Jim now. And of course, Taco Truck was able to win this out pretty dominantly the last time we came here. And it was really what started out that comeback in that
10
round
seconds to go.
streak that they went on after they won it. They got the opening pick in that round, and we've
5
seen a
seconds
big
left.
theme so far. Every single round, whoever's got the opening kill has won the round. It's been Taco the last 3, and they've converted it into round wins. But they've got the castle now. I don't believe we saw this last time. And it's going to make it even more stress on Source Gaming as to where they put their destruction, their soft destruction, and all the utility along those lines. You got Stoll as well on the roam. And I'm not exactly sure what the plan is for Source to try and deal with him. I don't even know if they know that he's here. Believe Goose might have just droned him out, but we'll see.
As it's going to be 45th Taco Truck kind of bunkering up a little bit, something we saw in one of their first early rounds, and something we saw out of Source Gaming as well, out of Gem. A lot of teams like to separate, have one player roaming, have two players holding, one in bathroom and two over in cash. But it looks like 45th Taco Truck has just fully given up cash. They're going to be playing out of Con, they're going to be playing out of Logistic, and playing out of Master, and just potentially trying to see if they can't do what Source Gaming was doing and setting themselves up for trades.
And look at this. It looks like for the moment at least that the main plan from 45th Taco Truck is just to give up cash completely. I'm not exactly sure why they're doing that. It seems like it might have been a little bit of a misplay because of the fact that Source Gaming have taken full advantage of it. They've got full cash control just barely a minute in. And look at this. They forced SK out of construction. They have given up so much map control to Source so early on. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of it, but Trix is going to be able to make up for it a little bit by finding the opening pick onto Goose. Did you like that play from 45th Taco Truck, giving up so much map control? But Angel there for a good kill.
I do. I think what they're trying to set up for here is these long angles right now, as they're able to find one before losing Kojin. And I really like the way that they're playing out of Jim here. If this wall hadn't been opened, they could have continued doing it, but now Stoll has to be very careful of that, as he's going to swing, realize there's no one out on the balcony, and he's going to be able to play a little bit more carefully, as it's just a little bit of phantom pressure. They still have to watch their back. See him checking behind him. They're going to see if they can't leave a player over there, and that's just a little bit less pressure off of Jim, as Angel's out on this balcony, and he's going to see if he can't find himself one.
Junior going to reinforce off the entrance from Logi, make it a lot harder for Source Gaming to work their way into the site and fortify their positions a little bit, but an unlucky swing. Waffle finds that kill. Source Gaming now with the man advantage. Remember, whoever wins this round will go on to match point. Source Gaming need to force the issue. They only have 20 seconds left to do it. However, 45th Taco Truck can just sit back, watch these windows, and wait for them to come in. Stoll even has a Valkyrie camera he can throw out if they want to get some more information. The swing for the shotgun is good for two. Junior going huge in the late round. It's down. Just the final two members. They swing. They come in. It's all up to Temp in a 1 versus 1 with Stoll. Playing around the reinforcement. The SMG 33 not doing him any favors. And 45th Taco Truck win their 4th round in a row. Put themselves on a match point, and Source Gaming have to be scratching their heads at how that round played out in the end.
You had a question in the middle of that round that I kind of wanted to expand a little bit on. Talked about how you didn't understand the play for giving up cash. And so while we have a second, I wanted to talk about that. I think the big play that they're going for there is a long angle. They're trying to set themselves up to be able to use that castle rifle. A lot of people kind of like to trash on it because it is such a low fire rate, but that's incredible for long angles. It has basically no recoil. You have that 1.5 on it, and if need be, if they jump in Jim or if they jump in the window nearby, you can swap to that shotgun, like he was able to kind of, the Frost was able to do to hold close. And you also can play off of that shield. I think the biggest thing is they are taking and saying, hey, we know Source Gaming has been taking a little bit of time on their clears. They've been doing it properly, but that kind of slows them down at the end. And so they've been forced to funnel. And so they were trying to get them to force them to funnel through Gem. Funnel through construction. And it kind of worked. I think the biggest thing that really helped them out there was Stoll being able to walk back and forth. It did cause a little bit of issues with him having to somewhat play incredibly aggressive right there in Gym, but for the most part, it was able to work out for them.
Well, the timeout didn't work for Source Gaming. 45th Taco Truck now have matched the 4 rounds in a row that we saw from Source Gaming with their own 4 rounds in a row, and their 4 rounds put them on to match point. Stoll gonna fall early on. A beautiful team play. There's the double swing that we have been seeing from Source. They finally get back to it, and it converts them into an opening pick. They've taken the Mozzie off the board. Those drones no longer can be driven if they get stolen by the Mozzie Pest, which of course get placed out in the early round. Now, Source Gaming What are they going to do with this opening pick is the question. How quickly can they convert it into the middle forward control? How quickly can they convert it into hatch play? And can they convert that hatch play into opening picks, more picks, I should say, and really start to put the pressure on this defense as, well, like you said, a much different play style from 45th Taco Truck. They have fallen back to the side and are opting to bunker up, not want to give up any more picks to the roamers. I like this from 45th Taco Truck, and I believe you probably do as well.
Yeah, it does feel a little different after seeing their attacks, as SK is going to be able to find Temp. He's off the board. They've been able to even that out. That's a lot of information off the board for them. But I definitely think that the way they've been playing feels a lot more stable. It's not just the slowness; it's the fact that every time they've been able to find a kill, they're not saying, "Hey, I'm taking this kill and backing off." They're holding that space. Something I'm really liking seeing from them. They're also not afraid to fight for space. That's how they've been able to pick up a lot of rounds. As right now, Waffle's trying to clear out a lot of space, clear out these players sitting inside of Armory. They're going to have to deal with both Trixia and Kojin holding over on this AK side.
That AK spot is such a bunker position that we've seen for so long. Clubhouse, one of those old maps that haven't really changed a lot since its introduction to the pro scene. And it's really become a staple map of Rainbow Six as a whole. And a lot of these teams do know how to play it. They're very good at it. And it creates these really close games that we're seeing right now. It's turned into a very good one as the C4 rains out from Junior. 2 kills go in the favor of 45th Taco Truck. They now are 1 kill away. It's all up to Spudsack to save the game for Source. He finds one inside a garage. That's SK off the board. No more Malusi. Just 20 seconds left for Spudsack. The drop in from Moto is going to have to come in soon. He's got the pings from the Grim, but he doesn't have them anymore. He's going to have to swing. He finds one potentially. Yes, he does, but it costs him all of his HP. Now 1 HP in a dream. It's 5 seconds left. I don't believe it's going to happen, and no, it won't. Code will shut it down. And 45th Taco Truck will take the victory 7-5 and move to 3-1 in the XGS Spring Burst qualifier number 2.
And I've been talking about it all game, and if you were staring at chat, you did see a little bit of BM from SK saying that that's what happens when you take one from him. But honestly, I think that's a really good thing to kind of point out in what happened for most of that game. Whenever they were winning rounds, they were able to set those ones up. That was really what 45th Tacos Trucks win conditions were. Whenever they were winning, they were able to set themselves up for advantageous peaks. Even if they were getting traded out immediately by Source Gaming, they were getting that first pick, and they were forcing Source to either A, throw bodies at the to solve an issue, or take disadvantaged locations to be able to set those trades up. And when you're on attack, you can't lose any of the space that you're given. And 45th was doing a very good job of forcing them to lose that space in order to get those kills.
And unfortunate for Source. Remember, they were up
Yeah.
5-2 at one point, ended up
Yeah.
losing 5 rounds in a row. That's
Uh,
got to be a big blow to your mental heading into the second day because
uh,
we should have been 3-1. We should have had that game.
yeah.
They just ended up not quite being able to get it over the line. And I feel like they had some good rounds where they started out
Oh
strong
yeah.
and their executes kind of were the thing that ended up costing them. I feel like if they had just nailed down those executes a little bit better, they might have found more success and been able to close that game out. But condolences to them. They couldn't. And Enteritus,
Yeah.
any final thoughts as we prepare to shut things down for the evening?
Yeah, I think kind of just like my little bit of advice towards Source here is be careful of letting another team control the tempo. I think that was also a big part of it was they were just willing to play into 45th Taco's tempo instead of trying to force 45th Taco into a slower game. Whenever they were playing defense and they were winning, they were forcing them into that slower game, and it was working for them. Just make sure that you're not speeding yourself up to catch up to your enemies. You're forcing them to your whatever your speed is.
Well, that's going to be it for us tonight. On behalf of everybody at the Xenon Gaming Series crew, my name is Nomical. That's Enteritus. We'd like to thank you very much for watching this evening. Don't miss out on more action this weekend, however. We've got 2 more days of qualifiers. We've got open and close coming to you. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that. But that's going to do it for us this evening. Have a fantastic night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.